How y'all doing?
So regarding this entire Kenya versus Brit Eady thing, with Kenya showing the photos where allegedly Brit was underage, which quiet as it's kept, I don't believe Brit was underage. There's a lot of discrepancies in her answers with that, and if she were underage, I feel like Bravo would have scrapped that entire scene together. Even though they did blur out the photos, they still would not have shown that scene with Kenya showing the photo of her being underage. Brit low-key admitted that she wasn't, but that's not what this video was about. A few weeks ago on her YouTube, Porsha claimed that a housewife was the one who gave Kenya the ammo against Brit. And in Kenya's confessional video on YouTube, she basically responded to this by saying Porsha was lying. She was very adamant about this, and she said no housewife nor did anyone on the show give her the footage of Brit. She claims her investigators gave it to her. So last week, this guy by the name of Anthony, who we've all seen in the reality TV stratosphere, he's been on a few shows, Basketball Wives, and this is his second or third time being attached to the Real Housewives of Atlanta via Drew. He says that the man in the video with Brit was indeed Youngberg, aka the producer Hitmaker. And so the same day that the Neighborhood Talk posted this on their Instagram, Youngberg himself got in the comments and responded saying, "What the helly?" So this is also adding to my reason why I believe Drew is behind this entire thing with Kenya and Brit. Now, you may be familiar with Youngberg. He was pretty popular around the mid 2010s. And he also spent some time on Love and Hip Hop as well. Now, there are a few things regarding this and Drew that make you go, Because number one, Drew was pretty much the only cast member that stayed inside of Kenya's salon. You remember when everyone ran out and everyone was just so appalled and disgusted and surprised, and they were just ready to go home, and they were telling producers, unmic me, this is not what this is supposed to be. Yeah, so Drew was the only one that pretty much stayed inside after that happened, aside from some friends of. Secondly, Drew mentioned that she felt like she recognized the guy who was in the photo with Brit Eady that Kenya showed. So let's put these pieces together. Drew and Youngberg, aka Hitmaker, are from Chicago. In 2007, Drew starred in his video for the song Sexy Lady, and in 2008, they dated for some time. The same year, Youngberg released a song called The Business featuring a singer named Keisha. He also admitted on Cam Newton's podcast that he cheated on Drew with this young lady. This allegedly led to Drew making a diss record called Not Alone, targeting Youngberg. It also featured another rapper by the name of Sly Polaroid. If you dig deep on YouTube, you can find the song. However, it is not the version with Sly Polaroid. It is the version with youngjeezy. So to tie all of this together, Brit also dated Youngberg. So I don't know if they were in a relationship or if they were just messing around. However, almost a decade ago, they were together. So to me, this would explain why Drew threw darts in her scene with Brit Eady in last week's episode. Remember when Drew asked Brit, so did you sell the cat? So did you sell it? It looked like Drew knew something that Brit didn't know. So either Brit is just stupid and oblivious, or she's playing the game. But if she's playing the game, she's not playing it quite well. So I say all that to say that Drew is a little messy and a little grimy. She's a puppet master. She's a pot stirrer. She knows how to get the things going, and she is trying to keep her spot on this show. People have been thinking that Brit's addition to the show is attracting a low vibration. In the words of Nene Leakes, they're declassing the show. But I feel like Brit was a cheaper option, a cheaper choice cast-wise compared to, I guess, maybe a Candy. And Bravo is essentially paying for their decision with the lack of viewership and the salacious content that is involving Brit Eady. I also did want to add that Drew seems to surround herself with messy individuals, such as this Anthony guy and her former makeup artist. Do you guys remember season 13 with Latoya and Drew when she tried to pretty much tell on Latoya and her relationship with this prophet with some recording? I personally find Drew entertaining. I think she's good for TV. She does lie. You know, she does do sneaky underhanded things. I do also feel like she is kind of doing Kenya's dirty work. And I don't know if it's a thing because maybe Drew was kind of the outcast and she didn't have a lot of allies on the show within the cast. So she felt like this was a way to get an alliance with Kenya. It just so happened that if that is what happened, it backfired on the both of them because now Kenya is essentially out of a job. Brit is still here, and it pretty much would have all been for nothing because Brit is not well liked. Viewers, we don't really care for her that much. She's not likable. Her husband's boring. Also, the cast of women, they pretty much don't take to her either. So Kenya really should have just sat this one out and let it ride. You know, she could have let God work his magic or let the powers that be regarding the show do what they do. Because who knows, Brit could have just been a one season wonder. And I did want to ask, so does this mean Porsha really is lying, or is she finally telling the truth for once? If she's lying, it seems like she's trying to get even with Drew about the whole Dennis situation. Anyways, this your girl Jezebel, and I just want to share with y'all that I have cracked the code. I do believe Porsha is probably telling the truth, and Drew is the housewife that gave Kenya this information or even the heads up to research Brit in some capacity, especially after Brit kept giving Kenya a hard time. Y'all like the video, share it, subscribe. Thank y'all for watching.